Everything is live. I like it. Welcome, guys. Justin R. Harris here, looking at my camera, making sure I'm talking to the right camera here. I'm glad you guys are checking in for the live investments channel. You know, I have the two playlists. I have the investments, and then I also have the business management one, which is the business scenarios and solutions solved. This one, we're talking about exactly what you see on the topic today. It is dealing with how the U.S. is directly involved with what's happening in China right now. I mean, you know, the beautiful country of China, you know, they have their faults, they have their, you know, they have their pros, their cons, you know what I mean? Just like any other country, just like the US and anywhere else you're going on, you know, media would like you to drive in one direction or the other when it comes to trying to make people look bad, or who's the right person or the right country or the right party or whatever it is. You know what it is, what it is. But at the end of the day, when it comes to global economy, we're all affected by each other's decisions, right? So with China and that whole conversation, that's exactly what I want to dig in today. But before we even get started, you guys know what I want you to do, and I'm going to make it pop up on the screen. I want you to like, subscribe, and follow. If you're on Facebook, you know what to do. Just follow along. If you're on LinkedIn, follow, like my LinkedIn channel. We're on all three platforms. So we're on Yahoo. I'm saying Yahoo. Oh my God, I said Yahoo. You know what? I was reading something yesterday, and it spoke about Yahoo, and it was talking about the internet as it was starting, and that just popped up in my head. Is that crazy how the subconscious works? Anyway, so we're on YouTube, the other Y, right? We're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're live right now, as I am always delivering live, high-end content to get you guys the information. This is all HD footage. The funny thing is my cameras are 4K, but the production going through YOLOBOX, which I've talked to them, YOLOBOX Pro, I'm like, hey guys, you know, it'd be nice if your platform actually pushed out 4K, because YouTube accepts 4K and puts it out as HD quality, right? And my cameras are 4K, pushing out HD quality. But for some reason, right there at you're playing the middleman. We're kind of getting screwed in the road here, right? So I don't want to do that anymore. So let's get that going. Let's fix that, guys. Come on, let's get that together. All right, so really, I want to dig right in. So today's content today really gets into what's happening, right? So I'm looking, I want to make sure that everything is in tune. You know, I am my own production, right? I don't get the opportunity here to edit and go back and do all those great things. So as I make my mistakes are fresh. They're like, it just happened, right? There's no script. I need to know what I need to know. I don't get a chance to go back and review and make sure I said something properly, okay? But I want to dig right in on this, and I covered some key points, right? Talking about what's happening over with China's economy, brushing over a little bit, and how that's related to what's going on with the obvious global virus that's going on, that C word, right? That's affecting everyone and seems to have mutated yet again. Of course, that's what it's going to do. It's an RNA virus. It will continue. We are going to live with this. So let's live and learn to grow with it moving forward in life, right? That's the name of the game. At the end of the day, that's just population control, if you will. Viruses, everything on this planet is trying to take everything over, right? It's a constant fight. It's a survival, right? So it's not so much of the fittest, it's just straight out survival. And you either are consumed by it, or you learn to overcome, or you learn to adapt and live with, right? So it just is what it is, okay? So they're dealing with that and how that's, and then they have their heat waves going on right now. So they got a lot of great things that are, and I don't mean great in a positive manner, I mean great as far as the size, the dynamic of it affecting their economy. And what does that mean? Well, there's a saying, if China's economy slows down, the world slows down, because they are, no matter how anyone wants to say it, you know, they are a huge footprint in what happens in the global economy, right? And that's one of the things I want to cover as well. And we're going to touch on those things, because one of the things that I noticed that was significant is China is, hey, no matter how you cut it, they cover about 15% of the world's oil usage, right? And they're significantly cutting back right now. And if they're cutting back, that means oil prices are going to drop, right? And it won't be a dramatic drop, but it's definitely going to be a decline. And that's one of the ways how it's going to affect the U.S. because as our gas prices drop, then guess what? People are out doing a little more, spending a little more, and that's where you're going to start to notice as far as our inflation is concerned. You're going to start to notice that number start going backwards a little bit more because we're able to do more. So if the cost of goods drops because it doesn't cost as much for shipping to get the goods, then guess what? The prices drop. There's more sales. You can afford it. You can go over there and buy it. The stores can make the same profit margin that they needed to make, and everybody's happy. So that's how things start changing in the opposite direction. If you ever had to think about that, fuel affects everything. If it costs more for me to go over and pick you up from your house, you're paying for it. Remember back in the day, be like, hey, I need $5 for gas, dude. Actually, $5 doesn't cut it now. But I remember those conversations, right? That might be dating myself. Ew. All right, so the other thing is that China's drastically been lowering their interest rates and injecting money into the economy. Kind of what we did here, but that really screwed us, right? So that was quantitative loosening at the time. So it looks like they're doing their method of that to encourage more spending. But by doing that and encouraging more spending, that's actually not a good idea because look what it happened to us, right? Yes, people are going out and spending more and it looks like it's stimulating the economy, but it's such a marginally small number that it's not going to work. And I'm not an economist, okay? So let me just say that right now. This is just me regurgitating information that I have researched as I am more curious and need to stay abreast of what happens on the real estate side because my investors and the people I deal with on the commercial real estate side, they depend on me to stay on top of what's actually happening to help determine whether or not they are making the right decision on their investments when I'm working with them and I'm helping them project forward with the pro formas and those in-depth researches that I do for their sound decision in their investment portfolios moving forward, right? So that's what I do, and that's why I get into these conversations because it is important for me to know what's going on, right? I mean, hell, who would you do business with? The guy who's staying on top of all that information or the guy who does it part-time and in a minute I got to go to work because I work for another company and I'm helping someone else get rich? No, that's not how that works, right? You don't want someone who part-times your investments. That's crazy. What? I'm going to give you $1 million of my dollars to go help me make a decision on my life, but you're about to go work at Best Buy or you're about to go work at one of these companies and I got to go do my shift. If I do what I'm doing and I'm good at what I do, then this is what I do full time. We get that? I think we do. All right, so honestly, getting a little tighter here is I want to make sure you understand this stuff is critical, okay? What's happening over there and what happens globally. I wasn't joking when I said if China's economy slows down, the world slows down. We can't have that game, okay? So I want to get right into the bubble as we dig right on over here. I want to make sure. All right, so catching right in and everybody jumping on board at the same time. I know LinkedIn jumped in a little late when it came to this information. Which camera am I looking at? I'm looking at the wrong camera. I got to stop this back and forth stuff. You know, it's hard because when I'm going and I actually want to go to the computer, I'm going to take you over to the computer. We're going to take a look at some of the information that I've pulled. I find myself getting stuck looking at the wrong camera sometimes. So you guys are looking at me as I'm looking over there and they're like, what's he looking at? That guy's staring at something over there, but he's not staring at the right thing. And here I am back here. So I'll give you a little bit of a eye relief there. And you don't think I'm crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I had to think about it for a second. Am I crazy? No, I'm not crazy. I have had caffeine. If caffeine means you're crazy, then take a look at the world. The world's crazy because everybody loves coffee. Those who can have it. I know those who can't have it. That sucks. Sorry. All right, so I want to jump right in. We're going to pull right over to the screen so I can make you guys a part of what's actually happening here. So when I researched it, and you guys know I like to look at Google and I like to see what's going on and what Google's actually explaining. They say right here, growing pains, China's faltering economy tests leadership's nerve. Beijing in a bind over harsh COVID lockdown, a property crisis and tensions with Western trading partners. I'm going to explain that for a second because I understand exactly what they're talking about there. And this is another, here's Barron's right here, another economic problem for China. 1 in 5 young people can't find a job. So they're starting to see the economic issue as far as employment is concerned. We talked about that. We're seeing that here in the U.S. It's like they're repeating our history because we are actually going through that, trying to circle back around and get out of it, right? So that's huge. China's economy is beset by problems. It talks about their zero COVID policy. Right now they have this COVID app, right? It's this health app, this mandatory app that forces you to stay tested, and then if the app turns red, you have to go into isolation. You can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, and you have to show people that app. So that's I get it, and I see what they're trying to do because there are so many people over there, right? So I understand, right? China's heat wave strains its economy. You know what I mean? Like these are top. This is New York Times, South China Morning Post, where they're talking about their economy and how they are focusing on their industrial, as they know their industrial technology is one of their strong points. So they're really boosting that to try to get things going. And it makes sense. You know, they're a powerhouse. We can't deny that. No, they're not concerned with trying to take over the world, but they are concerned with trying to be a beast and staying a beast, and they are a beast. We can't deny that, right? Almost everything you look at is a production from China. So let's not deny it. We all push each other to move forward, right? That's just is what it is, you know? And it's crazy because looking at these different things, when we talk about this, right, it's like a lot of people want to make it like a China versus US thing, and it's not about that, right? It's about growth, right? It's about growing. And when I look at what's happening with their real estate, it's unfortunate because I see mistakes happening there that people are learning from and not doing here. Like obviously here, developers have cut back and they're not going out and spending a lot of money at the moment, right, on land to forwardly project what's getting ready to happen. However, over in China, that's exactly what has happened. They did a lot of forward projection purchases, so people were purchasing concepts on properties, on buildings, and that's why they have all these huge ghost towns that are happening. And as a result of that, has ended up happening is these people have gone and purchased these conceptual plans, stuff that isn't even in existence yet. They went out and bought it, and now they're having to make do on those mortgages, and they're paying for nothing. The space doesn't exist. The house doesn't exist. The condo doesn't exist. That's a freaking problem. So they're out there boycotting and fighting, and they're like, hey, I'm not paying this. And it's you can see the snowball effect now that has happened. And I think there's let's cut over here. There's like 50 something? Bam, there it is. List of cities. It says showing results for China's ghost towns. And when you Google this, are you kidding me? This is unfortunate right now. Pudong, one of the first ghost cities, now a prominent global financial district of Shanghai, right? That one is actually helping. But then you look at these, this is unfortunate. 50 ghost cities. A report reveals that there could be as many as 50 ghost cities in China at present. Unlike parts of the US and Japan where unoccupied homes in various states of abandonment and decay have earned cities and regions the titles of ghost towns, China's are different. They're not abandonment, but rather unoccupied. They just haven't even been occupied. This is according to the interestingengineering.com. Culture, interesting. Are China's ghost cities still empty? The cities are still tall and they're still modern. They're also generally in good condition, but unlike their bustling tier 1 city counterparts, they're basically empty. This is harsh reality. This is dangerous. You know, and then we bleed right over to redfin.com. We talk about what's happening here. 14% increase in July is the smallest since November as landlords reacted to shrinking tenant budgets. We're going backwards now. Landlords can't pull what they were pulling before. You know, while rents in the U.S. hit another record in July, rent growth slowed for the second straight month. The national median asking rent was up 14% year over year to $2,032 a month, right? That's the smallest annual increase in November, and compares with the revised gain of 15% in June and 16% in May, a month-over-month basis, and the median asking rent climbed 0.6%, the slowest growth since February, and down from a 2.1% increase in the earlier year. Big rent hikes may finally be coming to an end as landlords adjust to wanting tenants' budgets that are being strained by the rising cost of groceries, gas, and other expenses. We talked about this. I said this. I'm not saying I predicted the future. It's just common sense. Those numbers go up. Those numbers go up for everyone. So the landlord, if you want to have someone occupying your space, you better not get crazy with your rent. You can't. You can't afford to. You can't call me now. You can't afford to, because what ends up happening is the struggle becomes very real, right? So this is not a smart decision to have gone through. So we cut back over here, right? And we look at Realtor magazine here. It says mortgage rates settle in the 5% range. They're actually right. I jump over here and I pulled it up. 15-year fixed, 5.22. I Googled that today, right? This is Google. I like it because it's accurate, okay? It's accurate. And if you want to get the closest number, and this is according to Forbes.com. This is theirs. This is pulling their rates from their information as of August 19th, Friday, right? We're just trying to get you the right information. I don't want to get you guys the wrong information. This is not about wrong information. This is about right information. This is about up to date. This is about now and how this is going to help your financial decisions. That's all I'm doing. That's why you're here. That's why you're going to like and subscribe. That's why you're going to continue to watch my crazy stuff, because I have amazing thumbnails and this beautiful beard. See ya.